As many of you know, Houston's diversity is well represented in our restaurant industry. We don't have just the classic food genres like Mexican, Asian, Italian, Creole, and Cajun. Because we're so diverse, many more cultural cuisines also have a seat at the table. Our first guest grew up in South Africa. He started bussing tables at his family's restaurant, eventually operating 58 restaurants around the world. Chef Paul Friedman's latest venture is Chef's Table in River Oaks. You get a great way to enjoy the food through Houston Restaurant Weeks. All right. Good morning. Good to see you again.
Good morning, Deborah. It's been a while.
It has been a while, but no, it's
maybe
been a while
10
since
or 12 years,
yeah,
I
since
think,
I've seen you, but not a while since I've been eating your food.
Well, you haven't aged at a bit.
Okay, you're my favorite chef ever. You're my favorite chef ever. I've been eating good food,
yes.
right? So it's been a while, and a lot of people who are familiar with you, there are so many thousands more people in town who aren't familiar with you, so let's go back over your life.
Yes.
Born and raised in, as I said, South Africa. How many people say, are you from England?
They do, or Australia. My mom's from Australia, my dad's from England, actually.
So there you go, we're not far off,
yes.
right? Okay. Melting pot of cultures is in South Africa as well.
Right.
Your earliest memories of growing up there, and look at you, young Paul.
Oh, that was when I was at my kindergarten, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's old.
What were your earliest memories of South Africa at the time?
Family.
Yeah.
Just growing up, you know, there was no TV, there was no phones. I mean, when we went out to play, we would play, you know, and you just meet with everybody out in the open. It was different, you know. You got to experience things. Yeah, everybody's doing this now.
Yeah. Anyway, I talk about the diversity of cultures. There was a whole lot of people there, even within the indigenous African culture itself, different tribes and different people, and they brought their dishes to the table.
Yes, you know, people ask me what is South African food. I said, do you live in Houston? Because Houston is just so diversified with so many restaurants and so many different cultures. South Africa is like that. And you know, the Dutch East India Company was formed by the Dutch, and it was a spice route from the east to the west. So in order to go through, the Dutch controlled the point. And so the Indian Ocean would flow the sails because they didn't have electricity or anything to go down on their ships. So they'd come with the sails. Indian Ocean comes down, and then the Atlantic Ocean pushes it up. So all the spices came down with the Indian culture, and then it would go up into the west. So we had Indian influence, we had the Dutch influence, the English, the Brits came down and colonized the area, and then the French Huguenots.
We all know that story, right?
Yeah.
But what it did do is bring all those cultures together. All right, the first taste of the business, you worked in your family's restaurant.
Yes, actually it was a cousin of mine, and I was a busboy and a dishwasher, and you know, I did all the dirty work.
Yeah.
And I hated it. I said, I will never be in the restaurant business if it's the last thing I do.
Oh.
Serious.
But it turns out to be so valuable, right? Because every chef I talk to says, yeah, it was hard work, but I understand every facet of the kitchen.
That's correct. I think most people who are chefs are good, but they don't know how to run a business.
Yeah, that's the other part.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. There are people who are trained formally in the culinary world. There are others who learn by literally putting their hands all over it, right?
Yes.
You went to Europe and you backpacked through Europe, and you were able to be introduced to even more cultures and more ways of eating food.
It was an interesting story because I said to myself after I left the army that I was in South Africa, I said, I am going to tour Europe before I do anything. And so I just had enough money to buy a Eurail pass to 7 countries.
And live in some hostels, to stay in some hostels, right?
No, I got smart. I would get on a train in the evening and show up in another city in the morning, and so I could crisscross.
Did you sleep overnight?
Yes,
you slept
I
overnight on the train?
I never
That is
spent
so smart.
any money. Yeah, the only thing I had to do was figure out how I was going to eat. And I figured that out too, because the trains would always come into the middle of the city. And then if you just go 7, 8, 9 blocks away, you come to the little mom and pop shops. And I would go there. They couldn't speak English because they were either Italian or French or wherever I was in those countries. And I'd make sure they couldn't speak English because I'd go there and I'd say, oh, I'm sorry, I have no money.
Please,
I'm broke. I
more
should
food,
yes. I fed for 7 months without paying for anything.
Okay, some tricks of the trade there. All right, Mike's Kitchen. At 21, you helped to grow the restaurant group, opened and operated 47 steakhouses in South Africa. And then you arrived in Houston in 1978. What brought you here?
A jumbo jet. No, I was really looking to leave South Africa. We went to Germany, opened a restaurant there. I really didn't like the culture as much, so I said, I want to go to America.
Yeah.
So I came to America. I was driving through. My partner said to me where I was, and I was in Houston at the time. He said, I just got a phone call from a friend of mine I went to school with. He's an orthopedic surgeon. His partner has a brother that he put in a restaurant. It's failing. Here's the number. Go see them. 6 weeks later, I immigrated to the U.S.
What an opportunity that was to get you here. Okay, you opened Pele Pele, which is, I think, around the time I first met you. And before that, you had opened Paul's Pizza Shops.
Correct.
You expanded to the Galleria, the Woodlands, eventually closed that. And you went off and did some TV reality shows, featured on Food Network's Cutthroat Kitchen.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah. Because when you say reality, those are some reality moments, aren't they?
I mean, they make it hard for you to cook.
Yeah. CNBC's Restaurant Startup.
Yes, that was great. Elizabeth Blau gave us a $1.5 million investment to do the competition was, can fine dining restaurants do fast casual?
Ah, okay.
And so there was about 150 entrants, and it got down to 2, myself and 2 other ladies who had a restaurant. And I won the opportunity to actually do the show.
Yeah, and it's so fitting, though, for Houston. Yes, fine dining casually.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
The Chef's Table. You returned to Vintage Park, your other original location that you had, but also opened in River Oaks, and I was just there recently. Give us the idea behind that restaurant. And it's very beautiful. It's understated and beautiful.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I actually blame my son because he wanted to get involved with another location, and I was very happy. I mean, the Vintage Park location was like my dream retirement.
Right.
So I was playing golf. I was coming home every night. It was living the dream. And my son comes to me and says, I have an opportunity to open a restaurant with 2 other guys who are chefs, and you know who they are. And I'm looking at my son and I'm saying, that's not going to happen. Yeah. You're not going to partner with other chefs.
With other people. You're partnering with me. All right. Okay. I brought you into this world. I can take you out. Okay.
Yeah,
all right. So how you explain Chef's Table is South Africa on a plate. And let's go through what we have. This is what I had the other night, and it's ribs. And when you say ribs in Texas, you have something in mind. And then when I bit into this, I was like, oh, another way to rib.
Yeah, I actually had somebody who has a very popular smoking house, and he says these ribs are better than his. And we smoke ribs here in Texas, so it's barbecue. This is not traditional. So I sous vide these. So first of all, I put a dry rub on, and then I sear it for about 5 minutes at 600 degrees. Then I sous vide it for 2 days, and then I'll baste it and put it on the grill. And as you can tell,
the most tender, and then the flavors, because you're using some spices that you only get out of South Africa. Right?
Well, yes, and also guava is a fruit, and I actually puree my guava, and I add ketchup and Worcestershire sauce and ginger and so on, and that's the flavor. It's a guava barbecue.
Okay, let's go through some of these other dishes here.
Okay.
What's this one?
So all these dishes that we're eating here is all on Houston Restaurant Weeks.
Oh wow,
so
all of these. Okay.
Yes. So when people are coming out to try Houston Restaurant Weeks, this is what you're going to be getting. So this is what's called Steak Diane, and this is a steak. I use filet. It's so tender, I'm even cutting this with a fork.
You are, yes.
So there you are. Just cut it with a fork. And this is a Steak Diane, which is with mushrooms. So I'll just put it here, and you can get a taste. You want to get the mushroom and the steak in your mouth at the same time.
Yeah. Okay.
And so this is a traditional English dish, which comes from my father's background. Isn't that good?
Yeah.
So it's a mushroom. It's like a creamy mushroom sauce with the steak. It just blends together.
Okay.
Right. So these are filet. When I'm finished cutting the whole pismo, I'm left with pieces on the end. So I decided to do. This is for Houston Restaurant Weeks. I decided to do a little kebab.
Which is perfect.
Yes, and then
kebab.
Yeah, and then there's chimichurri sauce. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some on here for you.
Okay.
And you can just try that.
Right, feed me, Seymour.
Yeah. Okay. So the chimichurri is I'm told my chimichurri is just out of this world.
I'm going to tell you right now, this chimichurri is out of this world. This is so good.
Somebody wants to. Somebody just said to me the other day, can you give me some to take home, and I won't put some vodka in there because I can make it.
Vodka.
Yeah, a little.
Chimichurri.
Yeah, just a little.
All right. No, you need to jar that for us.
Yes,
you can buy that when you leave the restaurant.
Right.
All right. What do you have over here?
Okay. So on the east coast of South Africa is an Indian population, and so there's a lot of curries there, and curries can be very strong and overpowering. I don't.
That's
like
why some people say, "Oh, I don't like curry."
Yes.
But if you have curry right, it's delicious.
Correct. So I make a very mild curry, and I use chicken, and it's a yellow curry. But before you do that, I'm going to mix it all up so that you can actually enjoy all the flavors that I'm trying to do, because I don't overpower my dish at all.
Right.
So when you
every
eat
ingredient complements each
you
other
have
instead
to,
of covering
yes.
up.
People say I don't like onions. No, you won't even taste the onions. Let me just mix this up for you, and then we can,
Okay.
then
Chef
we
Paul,
can taste it. Yeah.
we have that one. We have just about 1 minute left. left here, but let's describe our desserts are crazy.
Sticky toffee. Of course, that's a very European, British dessert. And then that is the award-winning twice now. If you use cottage pie, it's cattle beef. If you use shepherd's pie, it's sheep.
Oh,
shepherd.
That's the difference there.
Yes.
All right, this one?
Calamari. Usually people like to have fried calamari, but this calamari is sauteed, and you really have to try this because this is really good.
I'm going to try this while you pour some of your award-winning wine. Tell me all about that wine.
Okay, all right. So these wines are from South Africa. Anura is the estate winery, and this was a double gold that we got. All these wines just won first time entering into the competition. This was the double gold, and I'm going to pour you some of this.
I'm going to see what double gold tastes like.
Yes, and there were 3,600 entries.
Known for they're known for their diamonds. Yeah, I was going to say gold too. Yeah,
yes.
Right.
Well, you know, it's now become a tour, and I take people every year because of this winery. So we go do a tour of the winery. We do 3 weeks. We do the whole Cape Peninsula. We walk with penguins, shark dive.
It's beautiful.
Oh,
I mean, if you just have no idea what South Africa is, because you have shoreline, right? You have beach.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So the first, what we do is we go to the winery. Of course, we do the whole Cape Peninsula, but we go into the bush. We also do the winery, but 3-4 days in the bushes. You have to come. 2027 is completely sold out. 2028 I have 2 spots left.
Okay, well, I know somebody. All right, all right. So, Chef Paul, thank you so much.
My
and congratulations on Chef's Table.
Yeah.
All right, the 23rd Annual Houston Restaurant Weeks is happening now through September 7th. The Chef's Table is one of nearly 400 participating restaurants offering amazing multi-course meals at unbeatable prices. They'll make donations from every meal to the Houston Food Bank, and every dollar donated turns into meals for those in need. To date, the event has raised over $23 million, provided over 70 million meals, and participants are looking forward to another successful year. For more information on the Chef's Table or Houston Restaurant Weeks, visit greatdayhouston.com. I'm telling you, this food is so good.